Hi guys, it's Angie with Fun Endeavors Tie-Dye Lab. Today let's make some rolled shirts. I got inspiration for these shirts from some rolled shirts which I saw from Mark from Psychedelic Serenity Tie-Dye. Using a straight edge and a washable marker, I'm going to draw a horizontal line probably about an inch or so below the armpit of the shirt. Now I'm going to turn the shirt so that I can reach it. And I'm going to begin rolling the shirt right on that line. I'm going to try to roll the shirt pretty tightly, and I'm going to encourage the rest of the fabric on either side of this line to roll as well. Once I get the shirt rolled, I'm going to fold it over, and I'm going to use some sinew to tie some lines and to hold the shirt together. I pulled the sinew tight, but my goal wasn't necessarily to get the white definition lines. I did end up with a few, but I wasn't pulling tight enough so that I made sure I got complete definition lines all throughout the shirt. I'm not really measuring the distance between the lines either. They're pretty close to about the same distance though. But I'm just going to eyeball it. Once I finished tying all the lines, I went ahead and tied a few more shirts. So by the time I came back to this one, it was almost completely dry, if not completely dry. So for this shirt, I have chosen some more earthy colors. I've chosen some greens and some yellows, kind of a darker color palette, or a more fall-like color palette, I guess. I'm also going to incline ice dye this shirt, so I've placed it inside of a piece of vinyl guttering, and I've tied a piece of kite string to the end of the shirt. Then I've attached the piece of kite string to the end of my vinyl guttering so that the shirt doesn't slide all the way down to the end. Because the piece of guttering is a little bit wider than the shirt, I'm going to use some small dye bottles and place them down beside the shirt to hold it in place. Then, because the shirt is completely dry, I'm going to spray some soda ash solution over the top of the shirt so that the dye sticks to it a little bit better. I've chosen 6 dye colors for this shirt, but I have more than 6 sections, so I'm going to repeat a few of the dye colors. I'm starting with Sage Green from Dharma Trading Company, followed by Bracken from Dharma, but Bracken is a special order color. It is still available from Dharma, but in large quantities. You can order it though from a group called Tie-Dye Supplies Marketplace, and I've left a link down below in the description for this video for that Facebook group. People out there buy them in the large quantities, then repackage them down in smaller quantities to sell. After the Bracken, I'm going to use Straw from Pro Chemical and Dye, followed by Olive Drab from Dharma, and Harvest Wheat and Curry from Pro Chemical and Dye. Now I'm going to add an additional sprinkle of dry soda ash over the top, and then I'm going to add on some larger chunks of ice. I was out on TikTok and I saw Lazy Lakers Creations use some containers that she bought from the Dollar Tree Dollar Store. They're long rectangular containers, kind of like for pencils and pens, for drawer organization. So I went to my Dollar Tree dollar store to see if I could purchase some, and sure enough, they had them. So I bought quite a few of them, filled them with water, and froze them. And they are the perfect fit for the pieces of vinyl guttering. One chunk is not quite large enough or long enough, so I'm going to add a couple more larger ice cubes at the top. Then to incline the shirt, I've taken a plastic tote, and this one doesn't have super tall sides. It's probably, 5, 6 inches maybe. And I'm going to place one end of the vinyl guttering down inside of that tote and leave the other end hanging off the edge. That's going to incline the shirt. I placed the shirt aside and I allowed the ice to melt. And after the ice melted, I picked the shirt up and checked the back side of it. It seemed to be pretty well saturated, so I took the shirt out of the piece of vinyl guttering, placed it down inside of another plastic tote that had a metal rack down in the bottom, placed the lid on the tote, and I put the shirt outside to process where it was nice and warm. After about, I would say 24 to 48 hours, I began rinsing it. Okay, so let me do another shirt, but just try a little bit different variation on this same technique. For this shirt, I'm going to draw a wavy line on the shirt, and I'm going to do the wavy line diagonally from one shoulder of the shirt to the opposite corner of the hem of the shirt. I'm going to roll this shirt as well, and I'm going to try to keep my rolled area tight. The rest of the shirt is going to continue to roll as I roll on this line. Once I get the shirt rolled, I'm going to fold it over again, and I'm going to do some more sinew lines in the shirt. Here again, this time I'm not really pulling the sinew as tight as I did even on the last shirt. I've chosen a very similar color palette for this shirt. This time I've looped in a couple of browns though. I'm going to use the same setup for this shirt as I did for the last one, so I've sped this part of the video up quite a bit. If you want to watch it a little bit slower, you can press the settings icon and choose your playback speed. You can either speed it up or slow it down. So let me give you the colors that I'm going to use on this shirt. I'm using Medieval Brown from Dye Spin, Curry from Pro Chemical and Dye, Moss Green and Wet Sands from Dharma Trading Company, and Wet Sands is another one of the special order colors. Followed by Goldfinch and Fatigue Green, which are both Dharma special order colors, and Brazil Nut from Dharma. I'm going to repeat a couple of these colors on the shirt because I have more sections than I have colors chosen. Then I'm going to do the same process by applying a little bit of dry soda ash over the top and some of the larger chunks of ice. I did end up having to add a few ice cubes to this shirt as well. I've included some process photos so you can see how the ice melted. I placed the shirt outside for part of the time so that it could process out in the heat and so that it would help the ice melt a little bit quicker. And after this big chunk of ice and these ice cubes melted, I took the shirt out of the guttering and turned it over. And when I did, I noticed I had a few areas on the back side of the shirt that needed a little bit more dye. So I turned the shirt over, added some dye to those areas and a little bit more ice, and placed the shirt aside to allow that second layer of ice to melt. Since I placed a partial block of ice on top of the shirt, I came back and added a few more ice cubes to that area to dissolve some of the undissolved dye that I still had left sitting on top. After about 24 to 48 hours after all of the ice melted, I went ahead and rinsed this shirt too. Okay, so let's rinse both of the shirts. This is the first shirt, and you can see that the dye's gone through really well to the back side. I'm going to start by removing the piece of kite string that I placed up at the top of the shirt to help keep the shirt from sliding down to the bottom of the guttering. Then I'm going to start rinsing the shirt in cold water to rinse out the soda ash. I'll warm the water up to hot and continue rinsing in hot water to rinse out the excess dye that didn't bond with the fabric. I'm also going to untie the shirt, and instead of just continuing to rinse for a long time, I'll go ahead and soak it by running some really hot water in my utility sink, adding some Blue Dawn dish soap to the water, placing the shirt inside, and allowing it to soak. When the water cools off, I will change it out and continue that soaking process until my water remains almost clear. Okay, so let's rinse the second shirt. And as you can see, we added dye to the back side of the shirt, so it looks like I have really good color saturation. I'm going to start by taking the piece of kite string off of this shirt as well. Then I'm going to rinse the shirt the same exact way. I soaked this shirt as well, and once the water was remaining almost clear, I placed both of the shirts into my washing machine and I washed them using a hot water cycle. Okay, so I've washed and dried both of the shirts, and let's compare what they look like. The first shirt that I did is the one on the left, and the second shirt is the one on the right. To make it a little bit easier, I'm going to refer to the first shirt as the horizontal stripes. Okay, so let's look at the horizontal striped shirt a little bit more. I think the colors on this shirt are really cool. I do like the combination of the greens mixed with the more mustardy type yellow colors. I think those are really pretty. And I love the color splits that I got in this shirt. So for this shirt, I got kind of obviously a horizontal stripe going across, which they're not perfect stripes. They have jagged edges. And it almost looks like a wave design that I have going vertically on the shirt. I don't know, it's kind of cool. So if you've never seen any of Mark's designs from Psychedelic Serenity Tie-Dye, he does super cool rolled designs. His have really neat variations in like the design and the way the dye flows and moves. You need to go check out some of his designs. These are just my first experiments with doing this. The purpose for this making the two different shirts is I was wanting to see if there was a huge difference between doing a straight line versus doing a curvy line. So let's look at the second shirt. So for the second shirt, I didn't want to just do a curvy line straight across or horizontally across the shirt. I wanted to do it diagonally. I don't know, I just find diagonal designs a little bit more pleasing or flattering to wear, so I wanted to try that. And I think this one looks really cool too. I like the colors in this one. I didn't add in some of the lighter colors. I added in more browns and some of the mossier greens, and I think they're really pretty. As far as the design goes, I really like this design. To me, it almost looks like somebody just got hit and has a really wonky spine. But I love the dye flow. I love the different color splits on the shirt. I don't know, it's a pretty funky design. It's reminding me of something. I don't know if it's like a plant growing with little buds with those little darker specks coming out, in areas. I don't quite know what to call it, but I think it's cool. So let's look at both of them together. So I think the shirts definitely look very different. I don't know that this was a really good experiment to see how a wavy line differed from a horizontal line, just a straight line, because I didn't put the lines in the same place. But I do like both of the shirts, and I do think they're both pretty cool. I've done several more shirts since I made these two, and I'm working on videos for those right now. But I think this is kind of a fun technique. Like I said, he does amazing shirts using this technique, so I wanted to play around with it just a little bit. And as far as those large ice cubes go, that was a great idea too. Thank you to Lazy Lakers. I used the large ice cubes for other projects, but I hadn't ever been able to find any containers to make ice in for my gutter dyes, but those worked great. So what do you guys think about these shirts? Do you like them? Do you like the technique? Do you like the colors? The more I keep looking at that second shirt, the more it keeps reminding me of a dinosaur now for some reason. I don't know. What do you guys think? What does that look like to you? Because it reminds me of something, but I just can't figure out what. So do you have a favorite between these two? Do you like this technique? Do you like the colors? Do you like the design? Please drop me some comments down below and let me know. And if you've enjoyed watching the video, I sure would appreciate it if you would like it and if you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you'll hit the bell, you'll receive a notification whenever I upload a new video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day.